Do you love playing a game that really makes you feel British? Then come watch this little bit of GreedFall, where the accents are even more British than mine. Set in a magical colonial era world, this huge RPG game tests your skills, political prowess, and map reading ability. It'll basically be the same as doing the Duke of Edinburgh Ward camping, but without having to take shit in the wild. Here I'll be talking you through a little bit of lore, the basics, and showing you a little bit of the gameplay, so I hope you enjoy watching a little bit of GreedFall. The lore in this game is incredibly detailed. You'll spend about 4 hours of the initial game learning more and more of the lore inadvertently, whilst pushing forward the story at the same time. You'll meet hundreds of characters like these dudes, all who have a strong opinion about something. The general gist is similar to that of the Confederates, with a big slab of magic thrown into the mix, with a few twists and turns chucked in for good measure. Oh, and there's a plague, because why the fuck not? Even with the in-depth cutscenes that probably take up half the game, it takes a long time to get through even the main story. It took me about half an hour to get through the start of the game, and that's without doing the million side quests that you get in the starting area alone. That's right, just the starting area. Now the gameplay in the entire game is reminiscent of The Witcher, minus about £10 million of funding, but plus a heap of political choices. You have the power to change the game's outcome in so many different ways, depending on what way you sway politically, gaining favour with some factions and losing favour with others, depending on what choices you make. With beasts and men alike to fight, the game can get a little bit repetitive, especially with having to run everywhere whilst attempting to navigate an initially blank map. Man, the amount of times I'd end up doubling back was crazy. However, this wasn't all bad, as a few times I'd go the wrong way and bump into a big boy like this, and end up struggling through a boss fight, which actually felt pretty rewarding when I managed to kill it. As you can hopefully see here, the boss has specific movements and abilities, and also had a second phase once its armor had broken, which I thought was really cool. A lot of these boss fights were quite similar, but obviously the bosses have different movements and abilities, and they were all quite interesting as well. With caves, caverns and mines to explore, there's no boring part of this map, and I actually became hooked pretty quickly to this game. The follower system is quite interesting. You can have a few followers with you that all have different abilities and talents, such as healing, and you can swap these followers out to suit your needs pretty easily. The combat system is both simple and extensive, as you have combat pause and a whole host of abilities and options to use, including about 100 different types of potions and traps to utilise. You also have 3 main classes with different combat styles, as well as different talents and attributes to attain, all of which allow you to do different things in the game, not by just increasing stats, but allowing you to traverse to different areas. For example, sometimes you'll need 2 points in Vigour to be able to pass over a certain area, to find a secret or a hidden quest. There's also armour to take into consideration, both of which you will use and the enemies will use, and you can't damage a creature until its armour is broken. Unless of course you use magic, which completely ignores armour, but heavily relies on being able to regen mana incredibly fast through potions. There's also ranged pistols and guns, which are honestly pretty broken, but still fun nonetheless. It's frankly a pretty fun game, with interesting lore, fun boss battles, and the fact that you get to wear a dope ass cape. There's no reason for anybody not to enjoy this game as much as I did. I hope you've all enjoyed watching a little bit of GreedFall, and you've seen a bit of what the game has to offer. If you could smash that like and subscribe button to see more of my a little bit of content, then that'd be amazing. I'm going to be doing a little bit of Smite, including a little bit of all the Smite gods, as well as Smite as a whole. And I'll be doing other games as well, so keep an eye out for them. Until next time, this is NeonJamJar signing off.